In this video we're going to be talking about 1.6. 1.6 is mainly just dealing with your parent functions and things like that. So first I have my first three parent functions. Linear, just a straight line up across. It doesn't really look like it much here, but it's supposed to be a straight line. You have your quadratic, which is our parabola. You have your cubic, which is the cubic function, so it just kind of looks like this. And in just a second I'm going to put up the other three. Here's your absolute value function, y equals the absolute value of x, so just take the positive numbers, square root, y equals the square root of x, so you have the square root function. Reciprocal, this was also known as the rational in Algebra 2, but we call this for the reciprocal, since the reciprocal is kind of like 1 over something. Well, in this case it's 1 over x, so it's our reciprocal parent function. The new one is called the greatest integer function. This is the f of x equals the greatest integer, that's what these little weird bracket things look like, of x. So basically all this function really means to do is to round down. Always, always, always round down. If you want to, what the heck's going on? If you want to, say, take f of negative 2.5. Okay, if we take the greatest integer of negative 2.5, if I round that down, that is negative 3, because negative 3 is lower than negative 2.5 on a number line. Right, here's negative 2.5, so negative 3, we have negative 2. It just wants the integer. Integer is a whole number, so you're going to round down to the nearest whole number. F of 1.7 is just going to round down to 1. Okay, it's just asking you to round down to the nearest whole number. Looking at your greatest integer function, if we have something like this, negative 7 times the greatest integer of x plus 2 plus 6, and I'm taking 1/8. This means go to g, plug in 1/8, well here's g, so I'm going to go to that function and plug in 1/8 for x. So this is the same thing as saying negative 7, greatest integer, times 1/8 plus 2, and then plus 6 on the outside. Well, 1/8 plus 2, this is like it's inside of parentheses, so I'm going to say negative 7, greatest integer of 2 and 1/8, plus 6. Don't forget, greatest integer means to round down, so if I take 2 and 1/8 and I round down, that's going to be 2, so negative 7 times 2 plus 6. Well, negative 7 times 2 is negative 14 plus 6. So negative 14 plus 6 is negative 8. That would be our answer. However, if we want to do something like, say, g of negative 2.7. Right, again, I'm going to go to my function, and I'm going to plug in negative 2.7 where I see an x for g. So negative 7, greatest integer of negative 2.7 plus 2, greatest integer plus 6. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then, again, inside the parentheses, or my greatest integer, same thing. So negative 2.7 plus 2 is negative 0.7. Greatest integer plus 6. The greatest integer of negative 7, when I round that down, it's going to round down to negative 1. So I'm going to have negative 7 times negative 1 plus 6. Well, negative 7 times negative 1 is 7, plus 6 is 13. You're also going to see ones like this, where it gives you 2 points basically, and it asks you for the linear function. Don't know why it doesn't like me crossing things. That's crazy. Okay, so basically a linear function is just a line, so we're really just trying to find the equation of the line. Don't forget that this is f of x, so here is one x, here's a y, here's another x, and here's another y. So we're going to hopefully get down to something like y equals mx plus b. We don't know what m is, we don't know what b is yet. However, I know that m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I say y2 is 8, then I have 8 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 1, which is 6 over negative 4, which will reduce to negative 3 over 2. So now I know my m. I say that I have y equals negative 3 over 2 x plus b. And now we just need to find the b. So take one of your points, plug it in, say I choose this point, and I'm just going to put it in and substitute for x and y. So if I substitute this in for x, I have a 1 and I have a 2 for y, so 2 equals negative 3 halves times 1 plus b. Well, negative 3 halves times 1 is still just negative 3 halves, so I can add 3 halves, which is the same thing as 1.5, so plus 3 halves goes to 0 on that side. I figure out that b is 3.5, which is 7 over 2. So now that I know b is 7 over 2, I can write my function as y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 7 over 2. I'm good to go.